you adding in the Super 8 games?
Good evening, everyone. Coming to you live from the Gallo Ice Arena in Bourne, Massachusetts. It is the Division I South Sectional Quarterfinals. MyHockeyLive presents number 1 Xaverian Hawks versus the number 16 Brockton Boxers. I'm Jake Levin alongside Phil Garceau of CapeHockeyHub.com. Phil, welcome back.
Hey, Jake, thanks for having me back. It's been, what, a whole week?
Been not even. Friday. Who knows? It's been about a week. All right. Xaverian versus Brockton, two teams that, not exactly arch rivals here. They've played a few times over the years, including once this season. Xaverian got the best of them 5-0. Just two teams, really different walks of life. the way they traveled to this tournament.
They're really, not similar at all. One won their conference title to get here, ran through it 4-0. The other gets bounced from the Super 8 tournament, and here they are.
Xaverian lost somewhat surprisingly to the Franklin Panthers in the Tuesday night Super 8 play-in game, 3-2. Now, the Panthers, though they did win that game, they are now lined up with the Malden Catholic Lancers for a best-of-3 series. So pick your poison.
I'd almost ask you who actually won that game, because I think Xaverian has a legit chance to win this South.
I couldn't agree with you more, Phil, as Brockton controls play early. And Xaverian, they were swept in 2 games by the Lancers this season, lost by an aggregate 12-0. So Xaverian, they'd like to go on a Super 8 run, but with Malden Catholic standing in their way, they realize if they want to bring home a trophy this year, this is their best shot.
It's times like that where you need to be realistic about what your goals are and what your best chances are to reach the Garden. Division I South is the right pick for them.
So we're down on the west end of the arena here. A unique vantage point for the game. We're beginning in the Brockton defensive end as Xaverian. That's number 19, John Beniers, junior forward, takes it around the net, out to the point. That was fired by Jack Tufts and blocked by the Brockton defense. We'll get into how Brockton got here momentarily. That's one of their starting defensemen, Dan Heffernan, cross point to Ian Peterson. Brockton yet to record a shot on goal. We are less than a minute into this game. Division I South Sectional. Xaverian all the way back in their own end. Henry Bruckner, he's a sophomore defenseman trying to lead the charge up ice. Couldn't connect with Jake Farrell. He's a captain for the Hawks. Xaverian, of course, out of the Catholic Conference. And if you want to come up with an equivalent of the SEC in football, it's the Catholic Conference. As Xaverian bearing down on the net. That was Beniers taking it in, looking for, I believe that was Tim Sweeney, a co-captain, crashing slot, and then a shot for the slot fired, and finally scoring on the rebound is Jake Farrell. As Sweeney batted at it again, and the Brockton goalie, Franco Massaro, made 2 saves there, but the third time was a charm for the Hawks. Jake Farrell on the goal. It's 1-0, just a minute 23 into this game.
Yeah, Jake Farrell sitting right underneath the right dot there. Rebound comes right off to him, looking pretty, and he just goes 5-hole, and he finds the net early at 1:23 of the first period.
Not much Massaro could have done. He made the initial 2 saves there, and hey, Xaverian, they're a good team. They beat the Boxers 5-0 in the regular season. That one was back on January 24th. 5-0 game was at ACF Arena in Brockton, located right behind Brockton High School. Brockton looking for their first charge up ice, but knocking it away was Danny Brown, a sophomore defenseman. Unique vantage point here, Phil.
Yeah, well, at least we got Xaverian coming to us twice instead of once, so we should have the majority of play right in front of us.
Xaverian again on the charge. Mike Hardman gains the line and fires, and it's a save for Massaro. So, Phil, if I told you that Brockton won their conference, was undefeated in league play, and outscored their opponents 46-0 in the process, you'd probably think, what are they doing as the number 16 seed in the Division I South?
You would think a team going through their entire conference not allowing a goal would be the real deal. Here they are sitting 16. It speaks a lot to their conference.
The Big 3 conference is really anything but the Big 3, in terms of hockey at least. There's Brockton crashing the net, and a nice save by number 31, Aiden Murphy, sophomore goaltender, getting the start for the Hawks today. New Bedford and Durfee rounding out the Big 3. Xaverian again into the slot. That one goes right up in front of us. That was Andrew Durkin crashing the net. He's a senior forward. So Brockton 5-11-4 overall, but just 110-4 outside of the Big 3. Offside is the call there. Trevor McQuaid jumping too early. Brockton in this tournament, but they won their conference. They did. They won the Big 3 by beating up on New Bedford and Durfee.
It's one of the nice things about having 3 teams in your conference. All you got to do is win 3 games to make the tournament. 4 is icing on the cake, and that's what they did, and that's why they're here.
Brockton's lone win in non-con play came against the Natick Redhawks. Not a terrible team necessarily, but way back on December 27th, 5-3. And there's another nice glove save by Massaro. Now, Brockton's goal differential, obviously not all that great in non-league play, but Massaro has been a pretty good player for them, Phil.
Absolutely. I mean, he's got a majority of the starts this year. He's got 17 games played out of their 20. He's given up a hair under 3 goals a game. He's been very solid, even against those better teams in non-league.
That puck comes crashing down in the end zone here. 11:38 to go in the first period. Xaverian on top, 1-0. We're going to get a draw still in the Brockton defensive end. This will be McInnery on the draw, opposing Derek Ruth here for the Boxers. And the draw is skated out by the Boxers. They can't get a clean break. Max Siegel trying to lead the charge up ice. Out of his net to play it is Murphy. Leaves it for his defenseman. In the slot, that was Zach Dinopoulos trying to make a play. He's pinned up in the far side corner boards by Tufts. The far side right now is the Xaverian defensive end. And Brockton with a little zone time here. And just like that, Xaverian charging back up ice. Here's Trevor McQuaid on the right side half boards. Fires it off the end boards. Tom Fitzgibbon skates around, moves out of the corner, out of the point to connect with Sorrento. And intercepted by Frank Aten.
Trying to get a little too cute on the passes there, going a little tic-tac, going through the zone, and Brockton was ready for it, and they shut it down.
That was a long pass out of the defensive end. On the wrong side of the red line was number 16 there, Tim Sweeney. So it's going to go back to the Brockton attacking zone. They'll get a draw on their end for the first time tonight.
Relatively speaking, Brockton is playing their best hockey of the year. In their last 6 games, they're 1, 2, and 3, getting 5 of their points this season in those last 6 games. Once again, that's relatively speaking, but they are playing all right now.
Tied Norwood in their regular season finale. Game I was supposed to cover, actually, for the Norwood record. Ran into some major car issues heading down Route 18. Here comes Sweeney, jetting out the left side towards Farrell, and the tic-tac-toe pass was just wide to Prada. Xaverian stays with it. That's Sweeney. Goes to the left side corner, crashing in with Beniers. Couldn't get a stick on it, as Massaro covers up with the glove as it caroms off the end boards.
Jake Farrell, absolutely no stranger to postseason play. He led the Xaverian Hawks to a Division I Super Bowl victory this past fall at Gillette Stadium. And he's looking to do the same thing here on the rink.
Yeah, Xaverian, known for their football prowess. They have a handful of NFL players right now. Vince Wilfork's son also plays there at the moment. But their hockey program, not all that terrible either. They've become somewhat of a Super A regular this year, notwithstanding.
They're usually up there in the upper tier there of the Super 8 and 5, 6 seed. This year they got the 10 in the play-in game.
That was Farrell towing in through the right circle. Kept alive, but intercepted off the stick of McGlynn. There goes Brockton into the far corner boards to the left side. Murphy has to hold the near post. Puck loose along the end boards on the far side of the ice. Far, of course, referring to one team's whole zone rather than just the left or the right.
No, for Murphy, this might be the perfect game for him after giving up 2 goals in that Franklin game, one with 30 seconds to go in regulation, and again, the overtime game winner to Ryan Spillane. A game like this against Brockton that may struggle to generate some offense to be just what he needs to get his confidence.
Well, to play with a lead just a minute 23 into the game, any goalie will take that. Brockton with the puck. That's Ian Peterson. Goes off the end boards. Jake Sentner along the half wall. And that's Siegel towards the slot. Xaverian now starting to break. It is Hardman. Hardman in through the circle. Gets past one defender. Gloves it. And it goes wide to the near side of the post. Out at the point is Bruckner. Near corner, Durkin. Skated around, saved by Massaro, uses blocker. Gaining the rebound was Cook. And a soft pass to the slot, but nobody was home. Massaro wisely covers up. Xaverian, they're generating chances here early and often.
Hey, they like shooting those pucks from the right point there. It's a handful of times that we've seen them launch a shot from the point play. And they just can't seem to solve Fasta Fasano as of yet.
The draw is won by the Boxers. They get it out of their zone. Xaverian able to knock it down back in their own end. Try to avoid even a test of Murphy. He hasn't really had to make a save yet.
I think that's more on the offense for Xaverian than their defense. They just carried the puck so long today.
Pierkowski on a tour of the attacking zone. Loses the puck atop the blue line. Is tumbling down, however, it was Siegel. Still a break out of the zone. That was fired well wide to the right side by Simone Elchami, senior forward. 8:12 to go, first period. Puck loose on the left side of the ice in front of the scorer's table. That's Pierkowski for the Hawks. Advancing the puck up for Laporte. Laporte had trouble gaining entry to the zone. Heffernan trying to clear it. Kept alive by Laporte. Laporte still with it in the corner. Was underneath his skates. Elchami batted at the puck, trying to clear. Elchami battling in the corner with Fitzgibbons. Fitzgibbons pinned up against the boards by Heffernan. Brockton playing a pretty good physical game, taking down McInnery there. Was Heffernan. And right along these end boards, that's Heffernan in an intense battle for the puck with Fitzgibbons.
Brockton not backing down in those corners. They're fighting for those pucks with the Xaverian Hawk team.
Puck's been down here for a while, but Brockton didn't really allow Xaverian any clean shots. Here's Fitzgibbons into the circle. Pad save. Massaro. Fitzgibbons leaves it on the corner for McInnery. McInnery left it again, but it was intercepted by the captain, Ian Peterson. Still in this near corner. Along the end boards, it's McQuaid. Looking towards a slot, intercepted by Justin Allen, and out of the zone comes Brockton. But again, Xaverian quick to the puck. That's Bruckner trying to lead a charge back up ice for the Hawks.
So far, I like what I see from Captain Ian Patterson. He's really physical down here low, and he's not letting those Xaverian forwards walk in and take a shot.
Flying up ice are the Hawks. That's Beniers. And the slot, and again, intercepted. Good job by the Brockton defense. That was Joe Lopes, Jr., number 26. Again, Xaverian tries to regroup. Farrell. Long pass. Massaro's going to let it tumble right down to him, and he'll cover up for an easy glove save with 6:16 to go. Brockton really not playing all that bad right now, Phil.
No, they're really defensive-minded. They're not necessarily looking to generate offense. Maybe fire a shot on net and see what happens later. But right now, they're buckling down and stopping the Xaverian Hawk team in their tracks.
Farrell to take the draw. Will be opposed by a 10. It's fired right on Massaro, and again, a nice pad save. He kicks it to the right side boards. In the slot. That was Beniers, circle rather. Couldn't get a shot off. Xaverian dumps it back into their own end. That's Heffernan for the Boxers. Try to get it out. Up towards Elchami. Xaverian with it in the neutral zone. Attempting to gain the line on the right side is Farrell. Advanced a little bit further and over by Tufts. Back to Farrell now. Farrell, long pass diagonal, was trying to dial up Sweeney. Massaro cut down his ankle there. Good work by the goaltender.
Well, here's what happens when you know you're the better team on the ice, the faster team on the ice. You start taking those passes a little too much for granted and try and get cute with your passes. That might be what's going on right now for Xaverian.
Xaverian looks good in the passing. They have some crisp tape-to-tape passes, and they're not afraid to take those gambles. You're absolutely right, Phil. Down went a Hawk back on the blue line. I believe that was Matt McGlynn. Brockton looked for a chance off the boards. 10. Was looking for somebody to crash the slot. McCauley couldn't get there in time, and now the Hawks back up the other end. It's going to be Hardman gaining the line. Hardman from top of the circle. There's a hard diagonal pass. Couldn't dial up Durkin. Went into the corner boards. Durkin staying with the puck. Out at the point is Danny Brown now. Back along the boards. Hardman gets it over to Cook. Cook staying with the puck. Moves into the corner now. Sends it towards the slot. And covered up by Massaro for yet another save with 4:41 to go.
Yeah, Massaro quick to jump on those loose pucks and get his defense out of there, give them a break. That's about the third or fourth time we've seen puck from behind his own net to find the net, and he just jumps right on it.
Draw coming. Xaverian attacking zone. Durkin lost the draw to McCauley, and now up ice come the Boxers. They still don't have a great scoring chance. We're over 10 minutes into this first period. Xaverian playing great defense as well as generating chances. Just not totally able to solve Franco Massaro.
It's one of those things where, Xaverian's rolling with three lines, and it's one of those things. Maybe they try and wear down this Brockton team with, maybe not be as deep as they are offensively.
Farrell with the puck in his own end. It's Durkin jetting up the right side of the ice. He's going to gain the line, takes it into the circle. Durkin shoots, and it was well wide to the right side of the post, but he follows his own shot and gets it out to the point for Petra. As blocked in the slot. Cook couldn't get a clean look at it, and skating out is Steve Ulich. 3:44 to go, first period. Xaverian on top, 1-0 over the Brockton Boxers in this Catholic Conference versus Big Three Conference Division I South Sectional game. This would be a big football game, Phil.
Oh, yeah.
Intercepted by McQuaid in the slot. He couldn't dial up Fitzgibbons. Out the other way is Ulich. But intercepted again. Xaverian not letting Brockton get out of their own zone. That's McQuaid. McQuaid finds a nice glove save by Massaro. Just want to take this time to remind everyone this broadcast brought to you in part by Mohawk Rubber. Mohawk Rubber Sales is the largest independent distributor of auto shop supplies in the USA and is headquartered right here in Mass. Mohawk carries only the most reputable brands in the industry and can guarantee delivery to most U.S. locations in under 3 days. Most of our products are available for purchase online, so be sure to check out our store at MohawkRubber.com. Broadcast also brought to you in part by Jif To Go Dippers. Combine creamy Jif peanut butter and crunchy pretzels for the perfect grab-and-go snack. 3:04 to play, first period. Xaverian on top, 1-0. Puck goes slowly down to Murphy, and he's able to work it out towards Farrell. Farrell up the right side, redirected by Heffernan. Inside 3 minutes to go. That's Tim Sweeney. On the left sheet of the ice, he lops it up over everybody. It batted further by Hardman. Hardman into the right circle. Hardman in the slot. That was well defended. Beniers couldn't get a shot off.
Smart play by Heffernan there. He saw that he was going for the pass in the slot, and he played it all the way.
There's your shot for Brockton. I believe that was taken by Anthony Paul, junior forward, number 9, and an easy save for Murphy. 2:31 to go, first period. This is game 1 of a 2-game doubleheader here on MyHockeyLive Networks tonight. You're going to get the 5-12 matchup where if this were the NCAA basketball tournament, you'd be thinking upset. Mansfield Hornets out of the Hockomock and the Duxbury Dragons out of the Patriot League are the participants.
Tournament time is tournament time. Doesn't matter what the sport, any upset is possible.
Here's McQuaid. Intercepted by Donopoulos. My Rhode Island Rams dealt a huge blow to their NCAA tournament hopes last night, losing at home to the Davidson Wildcats. Gaining the line is Trevor McQuaid. Couldn't get that shot off. Good stick lift by Heffernan. Inside 2 minutes to go in the first. It's McGlynn. For Tufts. Teed up, fired by McQuaid. Hard off the end boards. Tufts. Working along the end boards. McKinnery in the slot. Shot, score. That's McQuaid. Goes up over the shoulder of Massaro, and it's a 2-goal lead for the Hawks with just 1:38 to go in the first period.
That was a beautiful play around the net there by McKinnery. He comes around the net, and he finds McQuaid sitting there. He goes far post, and he beats Mazzaro to far post with 1:38 left in this period, and Xaverian jumps out to a 2-0 lead.
They get a goal early. They get a goal late in the period. They really controlled the entire period. Brockton with some pretty good defense in front of their goaltender, Franco Massaro. Not much you can do on a shot like that.
There's not much you can do. That puck's behind you the whole way. You can't snap your head around quick enough to see where that puck's going. He just beats him far post.
90 seconds to go in the first. Xaverian wants more. That shot was taken and goes up into the canopy off the stick of Andrew Durkin.
Absolute rifle, but Mazzaro gets just enough on it to deflect it up and over the glass. Keep this a 2-goal lead with 1:19 to go.
Draw's going to come on the left side of the ice, controlled by the Hawks. That was Hardman for Durkin. Durkin along the end boards to the backhand, works it into the corner, out to the point, intercepted by McIntosh for the Boxers. Tried to get it up to Prada. And Xaverian regains possession inside of a minute to go. Here's Nick Shaw up the left side of the ice. Shot. Backhands it in the slot, intended for Durkin, intercepted by Heffernan. It's pretty clear that Heffernan and Peterson are the two most important players on the ice for Brockton, Phil.
They really anchor this defensive unit, and I think so far they've done a phenomenal job keeping Xaverian out of the slot, especially keeping those shots to the outside.
Jack Cook by himself, trying for the wraparound, and there, speak of the devil, is Heffernan to get in the way.
Heffernan might as well have been playing goalie on that play. Mazzaro was out of the net. He bid on a fake shot. Heffernan there for the stop.
Jack Cook stays strong with the puck with 16 seconds to go. Looking towards the slot. That's Durkin, fires it, goes off the stick of Heffernan, continues to play strong. 7 seconds to go. Along the end boards, it's Durkin. Durkin looking for the wraparound towards the slot. Unable to bang it home as Cook because of, again, Peterson and Heffernan. And that does it for the first period.
Well, it looks like the last minute of that period evolved. Xaverian tried to generate more offense from behind the net, keeping the puck down low and finding somebody out in the slot, and they almost got 2 more quick ones in the end of the last minute of the game.
Really not that bad a period if you're Brockton.
Yeah.
You know that Xaverian's going to score some goals, and you were able to control to just 2, and you gave them up at rather inopportune times right from the get-go, and then within the final 2 minutes of the period. So that is going to do it for us. We're going to take a break, first intermission here. We'll be back in about 10 minutes on MyHockeyLive.com. It is Xaverian 2, Brockton nothing. You're listening to Jake Levin and Phil Garceau. Cameraman Art Egerton, per usual, holding it down. We'll be back. Second period action underway here at the John Gallo Ice Arena in Bourne, Massachusetts, right over the Sagamore Bridge. Jake Levin alongside Phil Garceau. Xaverian taking it to Brockton 2-0. Taking it to maybe a bit extreme to say. They're certainly controlling the game, but they're only up 2-0. Here's an odd man rush for Brockton, but well defended by Nick Shaw of the Hawks as he battles it out with Justin Allen. Brockton managed to get maybe 2 shots on goal that period, Phil, and I think we lost track of the Xaverian.
Yeah, it was lopsided, to say the least.
Again, not a bad, I think Massaro is really Massaro, apologies, is the reason this is a 2-goal game. Playing very well for the Boxers. There's a shot taken. Backhand following his own shot and scoring is Henry Bruckner. He fired it on Massaro. Massaro made the initial save. Rebound went right back to Bruckner, and he's able to backhand it in. And again, Xaverian scores early in the period. This goal just 51 seconds in.
Yeah, that's what happens when you follow your shot. Good things happen. It's the second time they've gotten a rebound goal, and it looks like we're going to get a goalie change here.
That surprised me. I thought Massaro was playing very well. So into the game comes number 30, Adam Stagnon. He's a sophomore.
I'm very surprised that they're making the change right now. Mazzaro has been the net all season for Brockton. I thought he played pretty good given the circumstances.
Absolutely. You're only as good as the team in front of you. And 2 elite defensemen, Heffernan and Peterson. There's not much else out there for him.
You almost got to think that call was made in the locker room. That one more early goal and he was out because it did not take him long to pull the trigger on that move.
Right. If there's one thing you could say about Massaro, it was the timing of the goals he allowed. Very early and then very late. Nothing within the middle of either period. So Xaverian going to set up shop on the far end of the ice this period. That will be their attacking zone. Calling for the puck and getting at the point is Matt McGlynn. McGlynn in towards McQuaid, and McQuaid goes top shelf and scores over the glove of Stagnon less than a minute later.
That's the second goal of the game for McQuaid, and not to beat a dead horse, but you got to think that Mazzaro would have had that goal. It seemed to go out just over the glove side of Stagnon, and you'd think that Mazzaro would have had that. He seemed like he's having a pretty good game so far.
So that is 4-0 Xaverian. Just 96 seconds into the second period. We're going to be looking at the far end of the ice a lot for the next 14 or so minutes, I get the feeling, Phil.
Yeah, of course, they decided to use this period to score all their goals.
Xaverian, they were 14-6-1, but finished 4th in the Catholic Conference, the very competitive conference. As I joked in the first period, if you want an equivalent of what the SEC football conference is like, then look no further than the Catholic Conference. Now, I'm not saying who's Alabama, but there's no Vanderbilt or Kentucky in that league. Every team they're competitive year in, year out. And if they don't get to the Super 8, it's a disappointing season for all 5 of those teams.
Exactly. If they don't send 4 more teams to the Super 8 each year, you almost look at it as a disappointment. That's how good they are.
That's Cook up ice towards a slot. Just looking for Durkin. And covering up on the left post was Stagnon. Yeah, this year, if you want to include Xaverian in the play-in game, they sent 4. But Catholic Memorial, how the mighty have fallen, did not qualify for the postseason at all after finishing below 500.
The ironic thing about that is they were included in the second Super 8 watch list. But despite not even qualifying for the tournament play yet, they initially got bounced out about 4 days before the end of the season. But once again, no Catholic Memorial this year.
Catholic Memorial, I don't want to say they've been in a tailspin since Hingham beat them 1-0 in the 2010 Super 8 finals, but no championship since then. Then again, there's only been one team that's won a trophy since then, Malden Catholic. All 4 since, and they're going for 5 in a row.
A real deal.
Brockton trying to get some attacking zone time. Simon El Shami lost it, and here come the Hawks again. It's Sam Scanlon. Scanlon trying to go glove side and snagged by Stagnon for a save with 3:09 to go, or 3:09 into the second period.
Scanlon had a puck labeled for the top right corner, and Stagnon flashes the leather and gets his hand up there just before the puck hits him.
Play resumes. Xaverian in their own end. Puck is going to trickle all the way back. Murphy holds up as though it's going to be an icing. Will not be, though. Here's Brockton looking for their first great scoring chance of this period. Frank at 10. That puck is stolen away by Bruckner, looking for his second of the period. Crashing into the slot and now along the boards, coming out along the half wall. Still Bruckner. Fires it, goes off the end boards. It was actually Sweeney. Lose track of those numbers being so far away. At the left point is Tufts. Battles right in front of his own bench, and it goes up into the net, and we have looks like a little bump and run there between Sweeney and, can't tell who that was for Brockton. 11:09 to go. It's 4-0. Xaverian.
A very good period here for Xaverian. They're finishing on those chances that they didn't quite finish on in the first period. 2 quick goals here, and they're looking to pour it on.
So a little more about the Hawks. They outscored opponents in non-league play 48-17. And there are no Catholic Conference opponents in this Division I tournament. In the Catholic Conference, they were outscored 29-14, Phil.
Wow.
This shows you how ridiculous that league is.
That conference is stacked from top to bottom. There is no such thing as a game off in that conference.
Brockton again with some good attacking zone time, but no shots to show for it, not yet. That one was from the point, and I think that was deflected before it got to Murphy. So they tried. It was a shot, just not on goal. Danny Brown intercepted along the red line. And back defensively again, Tim Samores.
Looks like we're seeing the puck a little bit more in the Xaverian end than we used to in that first period. Brockton's starting to generate a little bit more offense. Nothing quite getting to the net, but they're still getting some zone time in.
Yeah, Murphy probably didn't even need to come out of the net to leave that puck for Brown. He just wanted to get some action.
He hasn't touched the puck in a while, and hey, here he is again.
Behind the net, Prada. Up ice for McQuaid. Can't get it clear. Phil, you're absolutely right. This ice hasn't been quite as slanted as we thought it would be. Xaverian got those 2 quick goals, but Brockton's setting up some time here, and they, again, carry it off the half wall. They're not controlling the puck in their own end, and that's the thing.
That's the difference maker. Xaverian keeping the puck away from the Brockton offense in their own zone, but still.
Puck stolen away. It was fired by one of the co-captains, Justin Allen. Went off the half wall. Stolen away in the slot. Backhand well over Murphy to the far side of the post. That was Corey Paul trying to lift his team to a goal.
If Brockton could just get some of these shots on net, maybe they could sneak one by him. A lot of their shots so far have been wide, high, off the glass.
Xaverian back the other way. Hardman was blocked in front. But again, Brockton's able to avoid any damage long-term in their own end. 9 minutes to go in the second. That's a long outlet pass. Bruckner, up ice, connected with Cook. Backhands it towards Durkin. Just having a whale of a time entering his attacking zone. Got a little elbow there from Donopoulos. Brockton playing very well since allowing that second goal early in this period.
Yeah, sometimes it's all about who's goalie behind you, and sometimes it changes the entire demeanor of a team.
In the slot, fired, saved by Murphy. Good shot attempt there from Allen. Top the slot. This is going to come in from the point. That was Peterson. And it was blocked long before it got there and carries all the way back. Heffernan in his own end. Intercepted by Shaw as they look for the quick turnaround. Shaw up the right side of the ice, dumps it into his attacking zone. Heffernan was the first one there, but skating in to advance it is Justin Laporte. Laporte along the end boards. Got tangled up with one body. And Brockton will look for a charge. That's a huge hit. That was delivered by Beniers, Jared Beniers, the freshman.
He was headhunting on that play, and he's sold out for it.
Haven't seen any huge hits yet that have really connected, left a mark.
Well, I'll tell you, that's probably a good thing in a game like this, a 4-goal game midway through the game. You don't want chippiness to set in with one team's season coming to an end today.
This is true, as we are right at the halfway mark of the second period, and as such, the game, Xaverian on top, 4-0. He's on MyHockeyLive.com. Jake Levin and Phil Garceau, Art Egerton behind the camera, bringing you this action from the unique vantage point that is the west end of the Gallo Arena.
Right on the glass. You couldn't ask for a better seat if you were at a Boston Bruins game.
Hey, absolutely. Especially all these shots Xaverian generated in the first period, and they'll look to generate again in the third. Puck is deep in their attacking zone. They're setting up some good zone time that they haven't done yet this period. Wristed on net. I believe that Stagnon got a glove on it, deflected it off the end glass. So Stagnon's not playing all that poorly after giving up that first goal.
I'll tell you, he certainly has a little bit more size than Mazzaro does, and Xaverian trying to go top shelf on him. It's not quite as easy.
Fluttering puck comes to Murphy. He corrals it and gets it out to John Beniers. Beniers advanced it further up for Sweeney. A little too hot to handle and swept away by the Brockton defense. Almost turned over in the slot. Justin Cruikshank gets a stick on it. That's Jake Farrell. Cross ice pass and scoring is Tim Sweeney.
Tim Sweeney, perfect setup pass by Farrell. He whiffed on the initial pass, but he connected on the second, found Sweeney from the left wing, and he buried it far post again. 5-0 Xaverian, the same score the first time they met.
And we still have almost half the game left. Aiden Murphy looks pretty bored back in his net.
I don't blame him.
Goal comes at 8:43 of the second period. Xaverian looks for more right off the draw, but swept away again by the Boxer defense. That was Noah Sorrento trying for a bid. Batted back in by Prada. Giving chase on the far side is Scanlon. Along the end boards for Jared Beniers, a freshman. Puck was loose in the slot. Dangerous place for it to be if you're the Boxers, but covered up by Stagnon. Good heads-up play by the sophomore.
Just raises the question for Xaverian. Are you happy with a gimme first-round game against a Brockton team like this to set you up for the first round, rather? Or are you happy to get your offense ready, get going, and find the net often in a game like this?
Well, you look at their opponents coming up, and they will be facing a Bay State Conference Carey Division team either way. That game is going on tonight at 8 p.m. between Braintree and Framingham at Zapustis Arena in Randolph. So Xaverian did not play either of those teams in the regular season. Not much of a... you know what? As I look over my notes, Xaverian, they did play Framingham not that long ago. February 14th, they beat them 2-1.
Yeah, well, both those teams are very familiar with postseason play. Braintree obviously winning the Division I South last year, and Framingham put together a good run in the Division I South a season ago. Fortunately, both those were senior-laden teams last year, and a lot of fresh faces this year around.
So I do stand corrected. Xaverian does have a track record against Framingham this season. They did not play the Womps of Braintree. Up ice is Allen for the Boxers to the backhand, and it's wide of Murphy. Jetting up the other end is Fitzgibbons, holding the puck all the way in and finally taken off the play by who else but Ian Peterson. At the point, Bruckner tried to go cross point. McQuaid couldn't get a stick on it, fired in by Brown. Brockton trying desperately for a clear. We're inside 4.5 to go in the second. Xaverian on top, 5-0. That shot was taken well wide off the end boards, came off the stick of Siegel. First time in a long time, Brockton had some zone time, and it's gone. McQuaid back up ice towards Brown and shoots it over the head of Stagnon.
Like you said, looks like they've lost all momentum after that fifth goal. They surrendered, almost surrendered the sixth goal to number 10, Jack Cook.
There's Cook with a puck in the circle. He was leaving it. The no-look pass, bit of a miscommunication for Harden. No matter. Gets it right back in the corner. But now Brockton up the other way. Defended well by Bruckner. And cross point for Shaw. Xaverian defense, they're doing their job too. Murphy's been bored, but the defense, they're really who Brockton needs to beat to even get a look at Murphy, and they've had almost none. Here's Murphy touching the puck along his end boards, leaving it for Nick Shaw. Shaw, backhand touch pass for Cook. Gets over to Durkin. Durkin, the long diagonal up for Shaw. There's Hardman. Hardman looking near post. Was held by Stagnon.
I hope I'm not jinxing anything here, but here we are 25 minutes into the game, and we're yet to see a penalty called.
Yeah, that's a good call, Phil. Clean game by both sides. Not even any fringe calls that have been missed by an official or ones that they should have called.
That's certainly something you want to see in a 5-0 game. You don't want to see it.
Teed up, saved by Murphy, came off the stick of Steve Ulich. That might have been the hardest shot Brockton has gotten off. It was certainly their cleanest of the period. The defense, Henry Bruckner, over for Cook. There's a good chance for Xaverian to practice their outlets almost, their outlet passes. Cook with a clean break, thwarted by Ruthier. And out of his net is Murphy. Sends it up ice and turns it over, but gets right back in, holds the post. It went wide. Came off the stick of Paul. Paul battling in the corner with Tim Simoes. Over for Shaw. And back up ice come the Hawks now. Justin Laporte. Again, well defended by the Boxers. Xaverian has had plenty of space in the middle of the ice, I feel like, Phil, but the board's been a little dicey. Brockton doing a good job holding those.
Yeah, they've been doing a good job all game. 2 periods now. Especially this second period. I thought they've been played a lot better in the second period, especially defensively and keeping the puck out of their own zone.
Inside 2 minutes to go in this second period. Very quick period at that. Very quick game and all.
Yeah,
thanks in part, large part, to the no penalties.
Very few whistles. We like that.
So Brockton, as we said, the winners of the Big Three Conference. That is how they punched their ticket to the Division I South Sectional. Swept through the Big Three and didn't do much against anyone else. That's in the attacking zone for Xaverian. Tufts towards the slot, turns around, saved by Stagnone. He was able to kick that with his right leg. 1:36 to go now in the second.
You almost got to wonder about those 3-team leagues. It all takes is 2 wins, 3 wins, maybe to get into the postseason tournament, regardless of record. And Brockton Exhibit A of that rule.
You know, just spitballing here, but there's another 3-team conference, the Old Colony League, that is actually a pretty competitive bunch. And I know you're pretty familiar with that conference, as it includes the Barnstable Silver Bullets.
Yeah, exactly. Barnstable. Bridgewater Raynham actually is another benefactor of that rule. They did not make the 500 mark on the season, but they got a co-share of the OCL title, winning 1 game with Barnstable, and that's all it took.
7-9-4 was Bridgewater Raynham. Not a terrible record by any stretch of the imagination, but certainly not up to par with Barnstable. 13-5-1. And I believe I just called Barnstable the Silver Bullets. That's not their name anymore.
It's the Red Raiders.
Red Raiders. Their youth football team, back many moons ago when I played, was the Silver Bullets.
Oh, let's bring it back.
Used to dread that drive down to Barnstable. You know, most of our games were right on the South Shore. Scituate, Cohasset, Rockland. And then all the way down here from Hingham. I digress. 1:11 to go in the second period. At the point, that's Danny Brown. Trying to get it in for Cook. Kept alive at the point by Jared Beniers. Back out of the zone towards Brown. Brown tries to lift it up for Beniers. Stolen away by Brockton.
So realistically, another period down. 2 quick goals from Xaverian, and you got to wonder again, are you happy with that performance if you're Brockton?
It's an interesting question because, again, just a very poor start to the period, but you only gave up 1 goal after that, and perhaps I spoke too soon. I did, of course. Mike Hardman, benefactor there. Looked like a touch pass. Didn't catch the assist.
So if you take out the first minute of each period and the last minute of each period, we got ourselves a 1-0 game.
Goal comes at 14:25. If Xaverian can keep this going against the teams deeper in the tournament, scoring early in the periods and near the end of the periods, they're not going to be a team anyone wants to face.
I don't know if I think we all knew that already. Any team that gets bounced out of that playoff game, or the playing game rather, and gets that automatic 1 seed down here in Division I, they're going to be a tough team no matter what.
You know, this is a good time to ask you about the potential of ranking teams in these tournaments. You know, there's a lot of talk about Hingham is the 10 seed, and I know record-wise, yes, Hingham has the 10th best record in Division I South. But their strength of schedule is such that really probably only Xaverian played a harder schedule in this section. Do you think Hingham should have, because they were on that Super 8 watch list, gotten a 2 or a 3 seed?
Well, let's see, Jake. We got 15 seconds left in the period. We go on for this about 3 hours. You know what? I think hockey is a sport that is crying out for a power seeding of sorts. I think it's ridiculous to think that Hingham was on the verge of getting to the Super 8, and then they throw them down to the 10 seed in Division 1 South. You know, they're top 2, top 3 team in this bracket, and they threw them down to 10 based solely on record. And I don't think that's right.
You look at the teams in front of them, and you see pretty much the entire Bay State Conference. Framingham, Braintree, Weymouth, Milton, Newton North, and Wellesley. Natick also behind them. So good looks for the Bay State, getting 6 teams in. That shot fired at the end of the period. Now, I get the feeling we'll be talking about this a good deal in the third period.
Yeah, no shortage of storylines in the hockey scene across Massachusetts.
Yeah, you know, a good friend of ours, Phil, Mike Abelson, feels passionately about power seeding in hockey.
Oh, absolutely. Lacrosse does it, and it works wonders for them. There's no reason that hockey can't do it.
All right, well, we will talk about that and more when we come back for the third period here, MyHockeyLive.com. And before I go, I will do one more time thank our sponsors. This game is brought to you in part by Mohawk Rubber. Mohawk Rubber Sales is the largest independent distributor of auto shop supplies in the USA and headquartered right here in Mass. Mohawk carries only the most reputable brands in the industry and can guarantee to deliver to most U.S. locations in under 3 days. Most of their products are available for purchase online, so be sure to check out their store at MohawkRubber.com. Also brought to you in part by Jif To Go Dippers. They're brand new. Combine creamy Jif peanut butter and crunchy pretzels for the perfect grab-and-go snack. All right, we'll be back.
My chargers in my bag. I gotta power here. I was gonna put together a list of talking points for the third period because I knew this was gonna happen. Yeah.
I was kind of hopeful early on. Do you want to call the second game too?
Sure.
Perfect.
I want to get Hingham was definitely something I wanted to talk about.
I can talk about Hingham for hours.
It's also goes with the power seeding. Super 8, Division 1 South outlook. A lot of storylines this early on.
Want to put your computer on the table?
What's it?
Want to put your computer on the table?
It's not a big deal. Maybe for the second game I will.
Second game's not going to be a blowout.
No, exactly. Right. I'm just thinking of the roster. Yeah. I haven't feel tough. I think I'm okay for right now.
Like
We're gonna have plenty of time in between games.
I know. I'm definitely going to chill up in there for the entire time.
Yeah, they got a nice place up here.
Yeah. Oh, I really hope they come through with that scissor lift for us tomorrow.
What game? You doing all the games tomorrow?
I'm doing. There's 3 games, right?
Yeah,
I'm doing all 3.
So I'll be here for multiple Melbourne. Ain't tell buddy. And then I'm taking off. I know those are the back of my hand.
All right. Well, that's. As far as I know, I'm solo for that game. So yeah, I think they're sending down this other guy.
Yeah, I'm going to hang in this after.
All right. What are the games after? Milton and Marshfield. The 8 o'clock is Hingham Wayman. Alright, so we'll have you being the expert on game 1, I'll be the expert on game 3, and I'll just bullshit for game 2.
There you go. Hey, no, that game will probably take care of itself, but it'll be a decent one. Maybe if it was 2 years ago, it'd be a decent one. Jake, I'll start off.
Here we are back for the third period between Xaverian and Brockton. Xaverian holding a 6-0 lead here in the first round of the Division 1 South as we are ready for the opening drop of the third period. Controlled by Xaverian. Up the right wing, Tim Sweeney takes it in, crosses over Jake Farrell. Broken up momentarily, but Farrell re-grabs it. Brockton takes off the other way, dumped in by Anthony Paul. And recaptured by Xaverian. Flung up along the boards by Xaverian. out of the scrum. Brockton emerges with it. Flung up to number 2, Corey Paul. Two goals scored by Xaverian in the first period. 2 quick ones in the second period, and 2 more late in the second to bring Xaverian to a 6-0 lead here. As we welcome Jake back.
What's happening, Phil?
I haven't missed too much.
Well, sorry about that. Technical difficulties keeping me off for the first minute or so of this third period. We're back with Xaverian on top 6-0, as I'm sure Phil already clued you in. Teams to switch sides for the third and final period. Xaverian now coming towards us, if you're watching this. Brockton is going the opposite direction. Adam Stagnone, he replaced Franco Massaro in the second period, the first minute of that second period, Phil. He's now the goaltender for the Boxers, who we'll be keeping an eye on for the next 13 and a half minutes or so.
I think got his early jitters out of the way after giving up an early goal. I think he looked better as the period went on until two quick goals at the end of the second period, rather. Brought this to a 6-0 game.
As Zach Denopoulos taking it strong towards the net, goes off the end boards. As a reminder, this is game 1 of 2 of MyHockeyLive doubleheader. Game 2 tonight will feature number 5 Duxbury taking on number 12 Mansfield in a Patriot League Hockomock League matchup. Xaverian again with some zone time, trying to get it out of there is Max Siegel, loses his battle with Durkin. Right along the goal line with some nifty stick work is Hardman. Leaves it for McInnery. McInnery in the corner, skates out to the half wall, moves towards the slot, and goes out to the point and wrists it on net. Shooting it with Sorrento, and it pops up, and the wraparound bid is not good. However, top of the slot, the goal judge put the light on. But they're going to rule no goal. The net was off its moorings, and that is, in all likelihood, the correct call.
Yeah, I didn't see much of a celebration there from Andrew Durkin, so yeah, I know something was up. And it looks like Jack Cook knocked the puck around, took off when it came around the edge.
12:24 to go. Christmas Eve to go in this third period. Xaverian going to get a draw just outside their own end. That would have been their extra point on the touchdown they already have.
Going over and giving Coach Spinall a ruling on what happened there, and it's like he was trying to get a face-off in the zone, and he's going to win that appeal.
Not a terrible consolation prize. You don't get the goal, but you do get closer to getting a goal. McInnery on the draw. It's controlled by the Boxers. That's Brendan McCauley trying to get it out of his own end. Up ice for Anthony Paul. Paul in through the left circle on the doorstep, and Murphy with a save, tumbling into the corner on that second effort was number 18, Simon El Chami.
That was the best opportunity they've had all game. But rebound popped right out to him on the right wing. He tried to jam it in there, but Murphy said no with the left blocker pad, and Brockton remains off the board.
Brockton very likely winding down their season here, 12:09 to go in it. Xaverian has their eyes on the prize after losing the play-in game of the Super 8. They lost 3-2 against Franklin. And actually, Phil, I discovered this. We talk about how Brockton, they got spoiled. They're in this tournament because their conference is what it is. But they played Franklin in their season opener. They only lost to the Panthers 3-2.
Well, that's saying a lot for this Brockton team.
And that's the same Franklin team that went out a couple days later and tied Springfield Cathedral in their second game.
Yeah, that's what you love about those opening games of the season. You never know what you're going to get. Everyone's working out their jitters, and I think Brockton took advantage of that one, wouldn't you think?
I got to say so. I mean, I don't think I've ever seen a team get hyped up so much because they tied a team. But that's the reality of the situation, is that Franklin, as well as BC High, are the only teams that even tied Springfield Cathedral this year. And Franklin, a public school that can't go out and recruit like a BC High can, it's justifiable.
It's saying a lot for that team. And I think they may have been one of the only teams that played Springfield Cathedral and Malden Catholic. Certainly the only public team that played both of those teams. They played both of them, tied Springfield Cathedral, and actually led Malden Catholic after a period, despite losing that game.
I'm not sure if Hingham played Malden Catholic this year. I know they do sometimes, others they don't. Hingham did play Cathedral, and Hingham lost 4-1. They actually led 1-0 at one point, and then, Cathedral, well, Cathedral.
You gotta love what Hingham does. They went independent for a reason. You know, some teams will knock you for going independent, but they did that just to get out of the Patriot League and schedule a very, very tough non-conference schedule.
They're the Notre Dame of Massachusetts high school hockey in a way.
A lot less controversy.
Yes. Skating around the attacking zone of the Hawks. Sweeney, they're just working on their passing lanes right now. And taking down, it's not going to be a trip. I thought a stick was a little liberal there by Danopoulos. Fired, saved by Murphy. Or played as tough. Phil, that's one thing about this game. We are we're more than 2/3 of the way through it, and still no whistles for a penalty.
Yeah, you gotta like that. You gotta be happy with that if you're both teams, despite the score, keeping their composure in a 6-0 game. Despite a big hit right there, dished out by Joe Beniers.
John and Jared Beniers, the brothers. Saved by Stagnone. Sends it out towards Tufts, who gets the rebound. So, Phil, we had to talk tail end of the second period about the pros and cons of power seeding in Massachusetts. And you know that lacrosse does it. And you know a fair deal more about high school lacrosse than I do. So explain that for the listeners out there and why it's something hockey might want to consider.
Well, you know, it's almost similar to the way that they do the Super 8 already. They already gather, and they rank the Super 8 teams. Lacrosse is the same thing. They get their coaches together, and instead of just going down the line by by winning percentage, they will rank their own teams according to where they believe they are. And they've had no problems with it, and it really doesn't take that much more time.
And winning percentage, obviously, somewhat of a factor. You know, if you're torn between two teams, then yeah, you probably go to the team with more wins. But as we've been saying, strength of schedule. You know, you laugh at it sometimes when you hear about in college athletics. Oh, they played such a tougher schedule. It's true. Absolutely. It's very true.
And, you know, that strength of schedule gets weighed absolutely none when going by winning percentage. You know, some of those weaker teams are up there and, 1, 2, 3 in the conference. But you know what? If you look at it, at the end of the day, the best teams are going to get to the Garden and the worst teams are going to get knocked out regardless of where they're seated.
8:39 to go, third period. There's a chance for Brockton up ice. That was El Chami. But it was well defended by the Hawks, and here comes Cook gliding up ice. Gets it over to Hardman, and a nice glove save for Stagnone.
Puck might have been going wide anyway, but he took no chances, and he flashed a leather once again.
Phil, you can see why Brockton didn't get blown out in a lot of their games. They've had some pretty good goaltending today, and there's only so much you can do when you're being outshot by a 6-to-1 ratio.
Well, the important thing is that we see Mazzaro has been the goaltender for 17 of those games this year. Stagnone has really not played much between the pipes, and I think he's doing a very good job despite not playing that much this year.
Draw controlled by the Hawks. It was Hardman. To Bruckner for Durkin. Durkin in the end zone. Skates around, turns on the brakes, gets it for Cook. There on this right side of the ice. Is blocked in front by Paul, but right back to Durkin.
It's not quite the prevent defense, maybe a prevent offense, but they're just trying to keep the puck moving and draw this clock out.
Prevent offense. Go figure. That was another save by Stagnone. He kicked back the net off its moorings after making the save.
It's the second time that he's knocked his own net off the moorings.
So this is game 1 of 2 on MyHockeyLive tonight, and we are going to have 3 games on the MyHockeyLive family of networks tomorrow. The early game, of course, going to be Barnstable-Falmouth. That is your 3-14 battle. Milton-Marshfield, the 6-11, coming up at 6:15, and the game everyone, at least I am interested in, number 7 Weymouth taking on number 10 Hingham at 8:30.
It's Division I South is wide open this year. Xaverian certainly making their case right now to win it, but it is wide open. No clear-cut favorites.
Samoes. Looks like getting held there was Pierkowski. You get the feeling that's something that would have been called had the game been a little closer. I think the refs have certainly put away the whistles unless it is something so blatantly obvious they have to call it for a safety reason. But, credit to Brockton. They're not letting the result of the game frustrate them at all. And sometimes you'll see these games turn ugly at a certain point.
Exactly, and that's something you don't want to see, and something you had to keep in your back of the mind while you saw Xaverian racking up goals on the scoreboard. But Brockton composing themselves very well, and Xaverian keeping the puck moving and, not trying to rack up the score anymore.
6:57 to go. That was iced by the Boxers. So it's going to come back to the attacking end.
Well, as much as we saw Brockton put together an offensive rush in that second period, they have not gotten the puck out of their zone here in the third.
Shot taken by McQuaid and a head save by Stagnon. Just as it sounds, Stagnon saved that puck with his head.
Any way you can stop him, huh?
You get the mask. Draw coming again in the Xaverian attacking zone. Controlled by the Hawks, out to the point. Anthony Prada, along the perimeter of the attacking zone, connects with McKinnery. Puck is popped up into the air. McKinnery sends it into the corner. Fitzgibbons over there to play it. Stapled off by two Boxers, but gets the puck right back. Fitzgibbons muscling with the puck atop the slot, out at the point now for Sorrento. Fired on net and deflected. That went off the stick of Fitzgibbons. It was shot by Sorrento. This variant looks like they're on a power play. That is not the case. Fitzgibbons in the corner, trying to clear it, is McCauley. And there we go, Phil. They're finally going to call the first whistle of the game with just 6:14 to go in the third period. I believe it is going to be a Xaverian Hawk going to the box. Number 15, Tom Fitzgibbons.
You know, like I said, it's got to be one of those things. It's got to be blatant.
Yep.
Or they're certainly in this case of safety, and I think that was one of them. Had to call that one.
Brockton will get a power play. First special team opportunity of the game for either team. The Boxer power play on the far side of the ice. Brockton in black, Xaverian in white. Something I always like to do at the top of the broadcast is compare the uniforms to that of an NHL team or a international team, and I got nothing for either one of these squads.
I think the closest I can draw up is maybe a little Buffalo Sabres away uniforms for Xaverian.
I like that, and you know what else just occurred to me? Brockton, not necessarily the logo, but the color scheme, sort of alternate Carolina Hurricanes.
Okay. The double red flag alternate uniforms.
Exactly. Brockton in their own end. Peterson at the point for Paul. Out to the point for Heffernan. Back for Peterson. Peterson fires and scores! Brockton goal! Dan Heffernan. And the Boxers will not get shut out.
As Heffernan that took that shot from the left point hit something on the way in. I'm not sure who or what, but it deflected glove side of Murphy for the first Brockton goal of the game on the power play.
Yep, clearly deflected. I believe it's gonna be Heffernan's goal though. It either went off of the goalie or it went off of a Hawk, and right back comes Xaverian. And the more I look, Phil, yeah, you're spot on with the Buffalo Sabres color scheme. So it is indeed Heffernan's goal. We'll check the assist. Got to imagine it's Peterson. It is. At 9:26 of the third period. So it's 6-1 Xaverian now.
It's good to see if you're Brockton get on the scoreboard. Not a complete loss today, even though your season is going to come to an end, but it would have taken a near perfect game today from Brockton.
Right, if the game were to end right now, it would be that same 5-goal margin that Xaverian knocked Brockton off by last time. Gliding in is Pierkowski towards the slot, and Stagnon cuts down the angle. That was Sam Scanlon crashing the net. Stagnon makes the save with 4:46 to go.
You know, looking through this Brockton non-conference schedule, certainly they have enough slots to fill with only 4 conference games in the year, but you got to like what the teams that they schedule. They have
Absolutely.
Acton, Boxborough on the schedule. They've even put Xaverian on this regular season schedule, and, you know, that speaks volumes to the competition they like to face.
They play a lot of Bay State Conference teams, and that was their only non-con win. It was against the Natick Redhawks a while ago. They have also from the Bay State, they played Walpole, Milton, Norwood, Newton North. Keep going up and down this list. Needham. They played Walpole twice, actually.
You know, look at a lot of these scores, and they're really only 1-2-goal games, and they're in a lot of these games.
You know, speaking of a 1-goal game, we were talking earlier about 3-team conferences, and the Bridgewater Raynham Trojans beat Brockton 7-6 back on January 3rd.
Busy day for the scoreboard.
Now, again, in my limited knowledge of the South Coast and the Cape, that's your bread and butter, though. You think the Big Three and the old Colony League would ever think about joining forces?
It has been talked about before. I think there's no shot that it happens. I think you almost got to go on a sport by sport basis in a lot of these things, and it's just
For as much sense as it may make for hockey, the Big Three is very strong in football. Don't let its hockey lack of prowess fool you.
Absolutely. It goes off of football is probably dominated a little bit by the Big Three. Basketball the same. You can't make these judgments off of just one sport, and especially hockey at that.
And it's very true, Phil. Very true. Geographically, it would make a little bit of sense, and we have another delayed call here. Going to be against the Boxers this time, so Murphy skates towards bench and trying for the big hit. Number 20 of Brockton, El Chami.
Not even trying to generate offense, just playing keep away, get as much time off that clock as they possibly can.
Just over 3 minutes to go. Here's Cook. Cook turns on the brakes, goes around, pirouettes towards the slot. Couldn't get Durkin.
That almost could be another penalty there. If this was maybe a little earlier in the game, that's 2 penalties on the same play, but I think we're trying to get one here.
There we go. They whistle the play dead at the half wall on the right side of the ice with 2:50 to go. So geographically speaking, that old Colony League, you would then have 3 South Coast teams, 1 Cape team. I don't know what you would consider Bridgewater Raynham. I guess them and Brockton more South Shore, but very deep South Shore.
I'll tell you what you're almost a little more likely to see, and it involves a lot on the Cape. The Cape is broken up into so many different leagues that potentially bring them all into one, splitting that up into 3 leagues, 3 tiers rather, small, medium, and large, and possibly even including Marshfield out of the Atlantic Coast League, which is already basically a Cape and Islands team, a Cape and Islands League rather, and Bridgewater Raynham out of the Old Colony League, and keeping them in the large. We basically have Cape and Islands League with a couple other teams from the off Cape. It's something that's been talked about for a couple of years, and we'll see if that happens.
And I've always wondered why is Bourne in the South Coast Conference? They're at the very beginning of the Cape, but geographically speaking, they are most certainly the Cape and not the South Coast.
Yeah, well, they've been grandfathered in there for a while, and
shot taken, easy glove save for Stagnone, who. He's doing a pretty good job here, Phil.
Yeah, he's been on his toes all game, and he's seeing the puck very well lately. Ever since that first goal, I think he's looked pretty sharp.
So anyways, we were talking about Bourne and how they're in the South Coast rather than one of the Cape Leagues, whether that's the Old Colony or the Atlantic Coast where the majority are.
Well, I know in hockey they like being where they are. They've won the South Coast Conference for about a decade now. So hockey-wise, they're in no hurry to get out of it. But it does raise the question, why are they in there with a lot of teams, in the South Coast? Who knows?
This is the first look at this Xaverian power play, and it's about what we expected. Not any let-up, and finally cleared out. Good job there by Heffernan, who also has the goal for Brockton. 2 minutes to go. Remember, this is only game 1 of 2 tonight on the MyHockeyLive.com family of networks. Mansfield, Duxbury, coming up. This is a good time to remind you that this broadcast is brought to you in part by Mohawk Rubber. Mohawk Rubber Sales is the largest independent distributor of auto shop supplies in the USA and is headquartered right here in Mass. Mohawk carries only the most reputable brands in the industry and can guarantee delivery to most U.S. locations in under 3 days. Most of their products are available for purchase online, so be sure to check out their store at MohawkRubber.com. Game is also brought to you in part by new Jif Dippers to Go. Jif peanut butter and crunchy pretzels for the perfect grab-and-go snack.
Looks like Brockton tried to clear the puck a hair too late as they get their penalty expires. Clear the puck, and they called for nice with 1:13 to go.
Pierkowski to take the draw. Skating out with it is McCauley. Minute to go now in the season of Brockton, and Xaverian will advance. They will face, again, the winner of Braintree and Framingham coming up at 8 o'clock at Zapustis Arena in Randolph, Mass. So either way, Xaverian will get a look at a Bay State Carey Division team. That pass a little too deep for Laporte. Cross-ice diagonal pass up. Here come the Boxers. It's Justin Allen. takes it into the corner, but it's thwarted by Pierakowski. Along the end boards, trying to wrap it around. Nothing doing there. Murphy holds the post. 22 seconds to go. So that is it for Brockton. They will fall to 5-12-4. Their season is over. Xaverian improves to 15-6-1. And they continue, very impressive string of non-conference games. He's carrying the puck in the final seconds was Justin Laporte, and he will not get a shot off. The game is final. Xaverian 6, Brockton 1.
You look at it, a 6-0 win for Xaverian. All things considered, I think Brockton played pretty well. And I think, they didn't let the Xaverian do exactly what they wanted to do offensively. 6-1 score definitely could have been much worse. I think they walk off with their heads held high here.
No shame in that for the Boxers. So the big three, the season is extinguished. They will not have a team taking home the Division I South Sectional. The Catholic Conference, of course, with 4 teams still alive, 3 in the Super 8, and just 1 in Division I South. Xaverian moves on. They will next play at a date to be determined, likely Sunday, against the winner, as I said, of the Braintree Womps and the Framingham Flyers.
It always comes down to ice time in this time of year, and
very true.
We'll see when we play.
Very likely here at Gallo Arena. Perhaps further across the Cape at Falmouth. Who knows?
Yeah, actually, it's been determined that all quarterfinal Division I games will be played at Gallo. It's just the day and the time, and for Xaverian, the opponent.
All right, Phil. So that does it for us for Game 1 of 2 tonight. Again, stay tuned here on the MyHockeyLive.com family of networks for number 5 Duxbury taking on number 12 Mansfield at about 8:15. The puck will drop on that one, so you got about 45 minutes. Take a breather. For Phil Garceau, I'm Jake Levin. Thank you to the cameraman, Art Egerton. We will be back. MyHockeyLive.com.